want dis ons land, dis ons taal, en sonder soek kan ons gaan stories haal. Waar we lewe in die duine, hoog gebou uit sand, die helder see en die goue straat, die landskap wat oor generasies vertel, die harte wat in ritme met die golwe val. Ons land, ons taal.
Dit is Maandag 5 Desember 2022 en weer tyd vir Kletskompas. Tanja Bause het onlangs gesels met die bekroonde Namibiese aktrise en filmmaker Girley Jazama. Dit is ons onderhoud vandag en natuurlik ook kan jy die geskrewe weergawe lees in vandag se uitgawe van Republikein. Soos gewoonlik kan jy ook ingeskakel bly vir Andrew Poolman se Maandag sportuitslae. Ons is nou terug. Kom ons vat gou 'n advertensiebreek.
The Noorderlig publication focuses on the central northern regions of Namibia, highlighting the activities that have an impact on locals as well as the role players in economic and social upliftment. The Noorderlig is inserted in the Republikein and distributed countrywide. The Noorderlig provides the ideal opportunity to communicate with our readers on what your business has to offer, not just for locals but for tourists and locals visiting the central northern area of Namibia. Providing a wonderful opportunity and platform to enhance your brand, contact republikein@synergy.com.na. The Noorderlig publication focuses on the central northern regions of Namibia, highlighting the activities that have an impact on locals as well as the role players in economic and social upliftment. The Noorderlig is inserted in the Republikein and distributed countrywide. The Noorderlig provides the ideal opportunity to communicate with our readers on what your business has to offer, not just for locals but for tourists and locals visiting the central northern area of Namibia. Providing a wonderful opportunity and platform to enhance your brand, contact republicane@synergy.com.na.
By my is Algeto Greg, lyk my dit is 'n blou maandag vroeg in Desember.
Dankie, ja Dani, maar dit is nog altyd 'n voorreg om hier op Kletskompas te wees.
Dankie Algeto. Nou ja, ons kan nie visueel die voorblad vir jou wys vandag nie, maar Algeto, jy skryf in die leiberig op die voorblad oor 'n verslag aan 'n parlementêre komitee oor die stand van militêre basisse in Namibië. En daar's verskeie plekke waar daar groot opknappingswerk nodig is.
Ja, en 'n mens moet besef dat ons as burgers, ons kry nie altyd die geleentheid om uit te vind wat op militêre basisse gebeur nie. Miskien vir goeie redes, maar so hierdie verslag was 'n geleentheid wat ons moes gebruik en 'n bietjie aandag gee. En ja, daar is aandag nodig by ons basisse wat verval en verouderde infrastruktuur is 'n groot probleem.
Nou jy verwys spesifiek na 'n lugmagbasis. Ek dink is die een daar naby Omaruru en daar is nie net een probleem nie.
Ja, die beheertoring is buite werking oor dat daar nie genoeg of nodige toerusting is nie. En verder moet hulle die aanloopbaan verleng, opknap en klippe verwyder. So dit is 'n kommerwekkende situasie. Daar is ook nie genoeg stoor vir die vliegtuie nie, wat is die woord wat ek soek?
Loodse, ja.
Ja, die loodse. Ja, daar is nie genoeg nie. En daar is geruime probleme. So dit het aandag nodig.
En dan ook in die noorde van die land, Grootfontein spesifiek, wil ek nou uitsonder Algeto, want ek meen dit is basies ons grootste militêre basis en ook een van die heel belangrikste in Namibië.
Ja.
Maar ek meen, hoe kan 'n kombuis afbrand en 5 jaar later is daar nog nie 'n nuwe kombuis opgerig nie. Mens wonder hoe word die kos voorberei?
Ja, nee, dit is 'n probleem. Volgens die komitee wat hulle gehoor het en in die verslag opskryf is dat dit is maar geldprobleme. Ons was mos in die droogte en in die resessie en toe kom COVID, so die tekort aan geld. En miskien is soldate se kos nie so 'n prioriteit nie.
En maar wapentuig is beslis. Ek meen ons weet ons spandeer maar ek dink miljarde aan wapentuig.
Ja.
Maar die toestand by die basisse lyk nie baie dapper nie. Nou ons kan ook op die voorblad lees oor 'n baba bobbejaantjie op Grootfontein wat die diertjie nou eintlik soort van gered is. 'n boer het 'n bobbejaan geskiet en nou is daar die babietjie wat iemand toe wou versorg en eintlik uitkry by 'n wildskuiling waar iemand kan sorg vir die dier, maar nou is die diertjie soek.
Ja, dit is volgens die ministerie die reëls en die reëls is gevolg. Of dit nou menslik is, kan ons seker elkeen sy eie opinie hê. Ek dink dit is 'n tragiese verhaal en ook aanduiding van die stand van sake in ons samelewing.
Ek dink ouens praat al van Vrydag af oor Fischerraad opnuut. Ricardo Gustavo se borgtog is gekanselleer deur die Hooggeregshof en ek dink baie interessante redes wat regter Dave Smuts en sy twee kollegas aangevoer het oor hoekom hulle dink die hof was verkeerd om tydelik sy vryheid te gun.
Spesifiek daai twee punte wat hulle uitgewys het van die getuie wat hy gelewer het met die eerste borgaansoek wat nie ooreenstem met die getuie wat hy gelewer het met die borgaansoek wat geslaag het op nuwe gronde. Dit is daarop oorweeg. En die feit dat as hy nou nie elke keer dieselfde storie vertel nie, watter een is die waarheid? En hoekom vertel hy nie die waarheid as hy dan borg verdien? Maar dit is ook altyd nie so eenvoudig nie.
Nou ja, buiten vir teenstrydighede het Dave Smuts ook benadruk dat die publiek almal van ons geraak word deur hierdie massiewe korrupsie wat na bewering plaasgevind het. So
Ja.
die saak, die erns is genoeg gewees nou vir die Hooggeregshof om die borgtog te regverdig nie. En dan het hulle ook 'n kwessie met GPS nasporing van waar iemand homself bevind, want die hof sê maar daar is nie eintlik reëls daaroor in ons land nie. En dit lyk my hy het in die geval nooit 'n enkel band of iets gekry nie.
Ja, en hulle noem ook dat selfs die aanbod wat hy gemaak het, was nie baie spesifiek nie. Dit was maar net so in die lug, half en half. So was dit ooit ernstig? Was dit ooit wie weet? Ek weet nie, maar ja, dit was baie interessant en nou is hulle almal weer agter tralies vir die Kersfees.
Wat dink jy laastens net gou Ageto? Beteken dit ander ouens wat nog steeds vir borg aansoek doen, gaan hulle kanse ook nou minder wees weens die feit dat hierdie borgtog teruggetrek is?
Nee, ek dink nie so nie. Ek dink ons wette is so opgestel, daar is baie beperkte kwessies wat in ag geneem word en daar is 'n proses wat gevolg word en die eindresultaat van hy proses is gewoonlik net wie se prokureur doen dit beter.
Dankie vir jou insigte. Dit was die nuusgesprek vir vandag. Bly ingeskakel vir die sportnuus en daarna die onderhoud.
Hartlike goeiemôre aan al ons kykers op Kletskompas. Wat die sportnaweek betref, kyk ons na die groot prestasie wat die bergfietsryer Martin Fryer die naweek behaal het, deur die Munga MTB wedren te wen oor 1127 km van Bloemfontein af tot in Wellington in die Kaap. Hy het dit gewen in 2 dae, 8 ure en 36 minute, die eerste Namibier wat hierdie prestasie behaal. So baie uitstekende prestasie. En vandag se koerant vertel hy so 'n bietjie van die laagtepunte wat hy beleef het op die roete, hitte uitputting opgedoen het en met tye wat hy baie swaar gekry het, tye wat hy moes oorkom het en uiteindelik wel na 2 dae en 2 nagte op die bergfiets die wedren gewen het. Dan kyk ons ook vinnig na die FNB Sandman triathlon wat die naweek op Swakopmund afgehandel is, gewen deur Jean-Paul Burger. Hy het so 3 minute voor Konrad Maree klaargemaak en dit was dan Benita Windisch wat ook weer die vroue titel gewen het, net soos verlede jaar. So bykans 400 atlete wat daar deelgeneem het aan die verskillende afstande. Die langste afstand was natuurlik 1.9 km swem, 90 km fietsry en 21 km wat hulle gehardloop het. Wat cricket betref, speel Namibië dan vandag, Maandag, weer teen Skotland by die United veld. Dit was dan gister Skotland wat teen Nepal gewen het en daarmee die voortou geneem het in die algehele reeks. In die eerste posisie by Poolman verbygeskuif het. In die derde posisie is steeds die VSA, hulle is met 2 punte voor Namibië, wat tans nog in die 4de posisie is, en dan nog 2 wedstryde hierdie week oor het, teen Skotland en teen Nepal, om hopelik daar in die 3de posisie in te skuif. Dit dan eers al vir nou, tot die volgende keer.
Because in Okahanja, I grew up in Karaba. I went to Karaba Private School, and then obviously after school I went to UCT, where I tried my spiel at doing a Bachelor of Science majoring in geology. But then obviously acting and drama and creative writing was always my first love. And at the time, obviously my dad said like, hey, go do something that you can actually get a job. You know, because this art thing is actually not, you're not going to have a career, you know what I mean? So then I did that, and then that was like my first year, and then during the holidays, I'd work for Anglo Gold Ashanti, as a geological assistant, which was obviously still Navajo, gold mine.
Yep.
And then after that, I obviously told my parents that if I go back, I'm going to go do what I want to do. You know what I mean? Because half the time I was at the humanities faculty, like my friends, the majority of my friends were humanities faculty students. So then I auditioned for the Waterfront Theatre School and the UCT Drama School. Then obviously because my parents couldn't afford to pay for me, I then decided to obviously come to Windhoek. And actually got admitted to or accepted at the Waterfront Theatre School in Cape Town. But then obviously just monetary reasons, I couldn't go. So then I decided to come to Namibia and went to the College of the Arts, paid for my fees myself, basically because I worked for a performance company as a ballet dancer. And then I also worked for a dance studio, and I have my bronze teacher certificate in ballroom and Latin dancing. And then at the same time, I was obviously studying theatre. So yeah, and then the rest is history. School, we had a drama section. So I did we did a musical where I played James Brown, where I sang like, I feel good, da 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 da. To the point that my mom didn't recognize that it was me after the show. When I walked down, she's like, so when are you going on? I'm like, I was on, Mama. And she's like, who are you? I'm like, I was the guy, James Brown. She's like, oh, wow. And then we obviously did The Lion King, where I played Rafiki. So I think my love for that came from there. For me, the responsibility of what we do as creatives, it's also us paving the way for others. Do you understand? So if somebody's able to see somebody that looks like them on screen, that gives them hope that, hey, if they could do it, I can do it. You know what I mean? Because also I think there's also not a lot of kids are academically inclined. Do you get what I mean? So that way they fall through the conventional school curriculum because they then perceive to be stupid. But actually they're not stupid. They're talented in other things. They might be great sculptors. They might be great visual artists. They might be great poets. They might be great dancers. They might be great graphic designers or art directors or actors or maybe even a director of photography that's not been discovered as yet. I believe in continuous development. So I've always attended acting workshops, auditioning workshops with various people. And then also in 2017, I went to Hollywood Immersive in Los Angeles, which at the time, obviously I was looking for sponsorship, but nobody budged. So in the end, I paid for it myself out of my own pocket. And obviously with the help of my family, my aunts, my sisters, my brothers, and yeah. And there I obviously learned that you can't wait, because obviously usually if you think as an actor, you're just an actor, so then you're waiting for other people to create movies so that you can work. But now what I was taught there, I need to create opportunities for myself. And that's why I, obviously when my friend approached me and said like, hey, would you like to produce The White Line? I was like, yeah, sure, because it was literally just after I came back from Los Angeles. And then I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do this. And then obviously everything just continued, snowballed after that. Where I then obviously got asked or collaborated with other people also to do Bach and the Giants, which I co-wrote, co-produced, and was production manager for. So, yeah. Yeah, The White Line, we basically filmed that in 2018, and then it was released in 2020. And with The White Line, I'm the actress, the lead actress, and one of the producers. And then Bahu followed suit. Bahu we did in 2019. Yeah, Bahu, and that one I co-wrote, co-produced, and was a production manager for. And then last year I did Under the Hanging Tree, which is directed and written by Perivi Kashavivi. And then after that, in August, I filmed Die Vermessene Mensch.
And you speak perfect German in that. Did you have to learn that?
I had to learn German because here's the thing, at least I knew the basics of German because I had at my school, Karaba Private School, which was back then Karaba Privatschule, we had in primary school, it was compulsory for you to have German. So I had German in primary school, and then obviously high school, I dropped it, and then I went with the Afrikaans because I was like, no way that I'm going to write essays in German. Like, no. Especially those grade 12 essays that you eventually have to write, and can't imagine doing higher grade in German in higher grade. So but I had to learn to speak German. So my voice coach or my accent coach, I don't know which one he would like to be called, was Florian Schott. He's a very good friend. So we had I think it was a week and a half, for us to nail all of my dialogue. I think the high point for me would be being able to learn a language for a movie. Because in the White Line also I'm Herero, but at the time before we were shooting the White Line, I wasn't fluent in Oshierero. So I had to learn Oshierero, and that was 3 months. And then with the Vermessene Mensch, I had to learn German. So for me, and being able to pull that off and being consistent, because I always feel I'm only as good as my last job. Nobody's going to go back and look at, hey, what did Girley do 17 years ago? They're going to look at the last thing that I did. And then you are obviously judged based off of that. So for myself, I like challenging myself with each role that I get. I'm like, how far can I push it? What else can I do? Because otherwise it becomes boring, So for me, it's being able to learn a language, because then also with the Afrikaans, I had to, because I had high grade Afrikaans. So the director said, nee, ek soek nie suiwer Afrikaans, Girley. Jou accent moet nie so wees nie, Jy moet soos 'n kombuismeisie in 1963 klink, kan praat, you know what I mean? So then I had to obviously also tone that accent down and then bring in the Oshierero Afrikaans accent, which is Mbas, Ndangi, because it's a nasal-like language. Yeah. So being able to do that. And then I think obviously for me, the other would be, I've been nominated so many times as an actress for so many things, and in 2020, I won the Sotigi Award for Best Southern African Actor, as well as the Sotigi d'Or, which is basically the Golden Sotigi, which means you're the best actor in Africa. So being able to win those, and considering that the Sotigi d'Or award the previous year was awarded to Jimmy Jean-Louis, who's like a famous actor also in Hollywood, and for me to now get that award in 2020 was just, a cherry on top of the cake.
For the White Line?
Yeah, for the White Line, both awards for the White Line. We've become a society that wants that instant gratification. We don't want to work for anything. And also not realizing that anything worth having, you have to kind of put in the work. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen overnight. Like if you look at my story, my life, 17 years for me to get to where I am, and I still feel I've not made it. I've still got so much to do. There's still so many things, so many stories that I want to tell. So I still feel I'm not there yet. I'm just like, this is just the tip. It still has to go a bit higher. There's still got so many more aspirations. I want to be in a James Bond movie. Ek wil skop skiet en donder. You know what I mean? I am... Yeah, because I'm kind of a lot of the roles that I get, it's like, oh, I'm the victim, save me somebody type of thing. And I'm kind of I want to be the baddie also. But I want to be James Bond. Okay. Yeah. Maybe even the female version of James Bond. Yeah, it's kind of why not? I've played a transgender woman role before, in Revere Than Those Men, which was a theatre play. So I think it's possible.
The Noorderlig publication focuses on the central northern regions of Namibia, highlighting the activities that have an impact on locals as well as the role players in economic and social upliftment. The Noorderlig is inserted in the Republican and distributed countrywide. The Noorderlig provides the ideal opportunity to communicate with our readers on what your business has to offer, not just for locals but for tourists and locals visiting the central northern area of Namibia. Providing a wonderful opportunity and platform to enhance your brand, contact republicane@synergy.com.na.
Die golven van ons land ontstaan.
Dit was vandag se episode van Kletskompas. Môre maak ons weer so. Mooi maandag vir jou.